Yeah, I'll react to that, sure.
To Watch Mojo UK.
Let's listen to some music, shall we? Well, a list on... Let's go.
Rock and roll was born in the
That's
States,
what I'm trying to say.
but it was perfected in Britain. Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 greatest British rock bands.
Hope you guys are doing well. Let's go.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified
Original
about our
link, top of
latest
the description,
videos.
as always, obviously,
For
guys.
this list, we take a look at those British rock bands that helped define and change the genre from the 60s to this day.
Such a good song. Guys, I'm so bad with music. I of course I like music. I love music, but I'm not someone who can like tell you any band names or song names. I like certain songs. I guess I don't listen to them. I love music, but I know nothing. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what song is to who. Lola. It's my dog's name.
Number 10,
was
The Kinks.
Love you, Lola.
One of the greatest bands of their age, the Kinks are to be credited with influencing pretty much everything that came after them, and even a few of their contemporaries. Pete Townsend of The Who, a band that rose to prominence around the same time as the Kinks, claims that Ray Davies' work has been a major influence from the very beginning, while others credit the Kinks with pioneering the rock concept album.
You really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing.
They took part in the musical British invasion of the United States, but soon were banned from performing due to the Davies brothers' constant fighting.
Millions of people swarming like flies round Waterloo Underground.
Number 9, Radiohead.
When I am king, you will be faster.
Radiohead's a great example. Clearly, I know the name. I'm sure there are songs, and what did that just say? I'm sure there are songs from them that I love. I couldn't tell you the name of a single one. That's kind of how I am with all music. So Paranoid Android, it's like, yeah, I've heard the song before, but you know what? I don't think I have to repeat that. But
Widely
anyways.
regarded by both critics and the public as one of the finest bands of the 90s and 2000s, Radiohead have recorded a number of landmark albums and tracks, and show no sign of stopping. Years after their debut, Radiohead can still lay claim to the title as one of the most important alternative rock bands in the world.
But I'm a creep.
What is alternative?
Shooting
thought,
to fame
like,
in 1992 thanks
Kurt
to Creep,
Cobain-
the debut single from their first album Pablo Honey, the band has proved time and again to have many more aces up their sleeves, from OK Computer to their latest releases.
Still going. Oasis.
Number 8, Oasis.
Okay, maybe I do know some. But what's the difference between grunge and is alternative different than grunge? Isn't grunge like I don't know. But all right.
One of the leading champions of Britpop, Oasis were an extremely successful band in the 90s, poised by some, although largely the band themselves, to be rivals and successors to the Beatles. It wasn't all talk either. Their first album, Definitely Maybe, became the fastest selling debut album in the UK, and is often said to be the greatest achievement of Britpop, while What's the Story Morning Glory and its roster of singles were a phenomenon worldwide. The notorious infighting between brothers Noel and Liam Gallagher ultimately ended the band, but not their popularity, which endures to this day. Number 7, Deep Purple.
Sounds familiar.
Among the pioneers of hard rock and heavy metal, and 1/3 of the unholy trinity that also included Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, Deep Purple are one of the greatest rock acts in history. Their signature Smoke on the Water is a regular contender as the first song everybody learns to play on guitar, and if that doesn't say something about their
So true. Oh my god. I don't know if it was the first one we did, but first music class in middle school, guitar, this is one of the songs we had to do, for sure.
contender as the
Accurate.
first song everybody learns to play on guitar, and if that doesn't say something about their impact on music worldwide, we don't know what else will. They achieved widespread success with their 1970 album Deep Purple in Rock, but subsequently went through numerous lineup changes since. Number 6, The Who.
This is like one of the biggest ever, right? Like up there with
The originators of the rock opera and one of the most revered live acts
Rolling
in rock and roll
Stones,
history,
Beatles.
The Who have been one of the most beloved bands to come out of Britain in the 20th century.
Oh my god, okay. They shouldn't even include the Beatles in the list because we know that's going to be number one. It's too obvious. And Rolling Stones will probably be two.
From the face of the mod movement to guitar and drum destroying synth dabbling hard rockers, The Who set out to create something grand from the get-go, and they very often succeeded.
This was Boston. What is that song?
One of the tightest rock quartets anybody had ever heard, many of their classic songs are still played today. Number 5, Pink Floyd.
Another one. In fact, I almost confused them with The Who.
Popularity and genius don't always go hand in hand, but Pink Floyd are one of the most highly acclaimed bands in music history, while also being among the genre's most successful. The band was at the forefront of the psychedelic scene, and later of progressive rock, bringing in and popularizing innovations in musical composition, tackling complex lyrical themes, and offering theatrical live performances.
I'm in a high-fidelity first-class traveling section. I think I need a lift.
Again, guys, I love music. Who doesn't? But I'm terrible at knowing bands. So, like, if I know about you very well, then even I do, then you have to be a huge band. So, Beatles, Rolling Stones, etc., other British bands.
Both with Syd Barrett as frontman and later with the legendary Waters-Gilmore partnership, Floyd recorded a number of amazing albums, The Dark Side of the Moon and The Wall ranking among the best-selling albums of all time.
Oh my god.
Every girl comes to me now.
Number 4, Queen.
I need to listen to more music. It makes me so happy.
Featuring
Queen
one
is
of the greatest voices in rock and roll, or any other genre of popular music,
Great mustache.
Queen are a mainstay of every best bands list, British or otherwise. With a career spanning decades and genres, their popularity and success is certainly well deserved. Founded in 1970 by Brian May and Roger Taylor, with Freddie Mercury suggesting the name and John Deacon being drafted into the fold, Queen achieved massive international fame with the release of Sheer Heart Attack and A Night at the Opera, and by the early 80s, were the biggest arena rock band in the world.
Oh my god, guys. I saw pictures, like, in the last year of Freddie Mercury towards the end of his life. He died from AIDS, right? So sad. Like, seeing someone like that. And now I'm seeing him not, you know, man, that was, and again, I'm not a huge fan, or I love the music, but that was awful.
Night at the Opera,
Makes me
and by
sad
the
looking
early
at 'em now.
80s, were the biggest arena rock band in the world.
Nothing really matters to me.
Rolling
Number 3, The Rolling Stones.
for 3. Who am I missing?
The original bad boys of rock and roll, the Rolling Stones were as influential as the Beatles, and continue to be one of the most revered bands in the history of music. Inspired by blues and early rock and roll, in the early 60s they become an icon of the countercultural revolution, and were at the forefront of the musical invasion of the United States, while their albums from the late 60s to the early 70s are considered among the best rock records ever produced, and the band's own golden age. Number 2, Led Zeppelin.
I thought for sure this band was American growing up.
They're one of the greatest bands to ever grace a stage, and laid the foundations of much of the heavy music that came after them. Without them, hard rock and metal as we know them wouldn't even exist. But Led Zeppelin's influence spreads to all modern music, and even to music business and the way music is made.
There was a lot of, 70s, 80s rock bands.
Their distaste for singles meant they conceived all their output as albums, and their live shows helped develop arena rock, while making them the second best-selling band in the US, behind the Beatles. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honourable mentions.
Oh, I wonder who the top pick is. Def Leppard is... This song is British? Stone Roses. Reminds me of Phil Collins. Wait, is that Phil Collins?
Number 1, the Beatles.
Whoa, what? Whoa, surprise! I mean, they deserve it, right?
The long and the short of it is popular music can be easily divided into two periods, before and after the Beatles. And once they came, especially from the moment they started experimenting with more complex musical...
Guys, the Beatles are so big that, like, they're not even music. Or they're, like, it's... I'm not a big, like, fan, I'm not saying fan, but, like, they are a topic that is, like, a culture topic, not, like, just a music one, or... Like, they're just something that, like, you just say, something to know about the 20th century. Just the Beatles is going to be a mark in that in that 60s, 70s era, whatever. And so, yeah, they're clearly, no surprise, they're number one.
For compositions in albums like Revolver, things were never the same.
Like, Americans know who they are when they're, like, 2 years old, even if they don't like music.
From clean-cut pop band that would have teenage girls scream every time they've stepped on stage, to the mind-expanding, genre-bending, envelope-pushing band that abruptly stopped touring and completely overhauled their mop-topped image, John, Paul, George and Ringo did it all, and did it first.
Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to Strawberry Fields.
I always listen to the Beatles because, I wasn't a big Beatles fan. It's just when people would tell you they're the greatest and you listen to them, it's just like, whoa, what exactly? But I guess it's more like you need to know more than just the songs. It's about their whole, the effect they had. Well, then that's not just their musical talent, is it? That's more than that. But clearly they're a great band. I wouldn't deny it just on pure music. Even if someone says they're the best band, I'm not going to say no. So yeah, great. Awesome. I hope I wasn't too annoying there. I did pause a lot during songs, the bits of songs. Love you all. Hope you're all doing well. Would love to see any of your comments, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.